Hello everyone and welcome to the next session of Core Java. In continuation with classes in Java discussion, now we are going to discuss about how we can have functions defined in Java application. So first of all, we will discuss about what is a function, that is basics of function, what all various types available for a function, and how we can define a function within a Java class, and obviously the execution of the function. So let's get started with the basics of function, that is definition. So what is a function? So by definition, a function is a block of code that performs some specific task which is assigned. Now, why do we need to write a function? Is if there is certain code which needs to be reused, if some code is required in my application to be used again and again, so instead of typing it again and again or retyping it, I can add that or add those statements in a block of code. That block of code can be given a name which will be defined as a function, and when and where required I can call that particular function. Now the function which I am going to write, it may or may not return the result to the caller. Obviously we will see all sort of functions which we can implement in a Java application. What are types of functions? Predefined and user defined. Predefined means what? In Java, we have predefined set of packages, classes, and in these classes, we have predefined methods. So, whatever is provided by Java to us to use it directly in our application, those functions come under predefined category of the functions. And when I create a function as per my need in my application, it is termed as user defined function. Whenever we are declaring any function, how can we specify the signature? So basically, function signature or declaration has 6 components. First is modifier, access modifier, which could be private, public, or protected, or no modifier. Then the return type. If the function is returning some value, so that return type can be specified. Type of the data which will be returned, that is nothing but return type. And if the method does not return any value, it will be specified as void. Method name, that is name of the method with which we are going to give call to that particular method for execution, and method name will be specified as per the naming convention. Then the parameter list. Now a function can have 0 or more parameters which will be specified in parentheses. So if there are no parameters or 0 parameters, signature will hold empty parenthesis, or if there are multiple parameters, then there will be comma separated list of input parameters along with specification of the data type. Then exception list. So if any function is throwing an exception, now what is an exception we have not yet discussed. We will be discussing in forthcoming sessions, but exception is any unexpected condition. So if your function is handling that, then that will be considered as an exception. So if the function is throwing any exception, one or multiple, so that can be specified in exception list. And the last is nothing but the function body. This is the implementation, where this implementation will be specified within the braces. So let's first see how we can define a function. So I'm creating a new class, say function demo. Now what is the signature? First of all, access modifier. So I'm giving it as public. The access modifier can be private, protected, or public. Right now the function does not return any value, so I'm keeping it as void. Print message. This is according to coding convention. Whenever you are declaring any function, it must start with some verb, some action word, because it is a function. It is going to perform some operation. So what operation it is going to perform, what action it is going to take, it will be a action word. The name of the function will always start with lowercase letter, and if there are multiple English words in the identifier of the function, then we will be following the camel. So currently print message msg is the method. Empty parenthesis, I'm specifying that there will not be any parameter passed. And system.out.println say hello. So this is the message. What if I want to pass some parameter but it does not return any value? Say greet user, and I'm passing a parameter. So where I want username, this is the variable. Now look at the way how I have declared this variable. This variable holds the name of the user, so name given as username. I'll have to specify the data type. So obviously it is name, so it will be of type username. This is the function though. So system.out.println user name. So this is the example where the function is accepting one parameter. If you have multiple parameters, say for example public void, public void add, right? So I have int num1, int num2, and I'm declaring a result. So result equal to num1 plus num2, and system.out.println result. So multiple parameters. Now what if a function does not accept a value but returns a value, right? So public. Now suppose it is returning a string. So if this is the data type, get message. Now I'm getting the value returned from the method. So get. And there is a keyword named as return. And as this is a string, as this is a string, I'm writing it in double inverted. Public int, if it is returning int value, and So int num1, int num2. Now these are local variables which we are passing to the function as a parameter. So even if we are repeating the names, it is absolutely okay. So int result equal to, now here I am considering that the values when I am passing, num1 will be greater than num for time being, right? And return. So this is how function may or may not accept the value, may or may not return the value. This is what we have implemented over. Now we are going to have a look at how can we access this particular function. So either you can have main method over here, or you can write another class which contains the main method. For time being, I am in this particular application, I'm going to create, or I'm going to add main method over here itself. So let's create object of the class. So function demo to new function demo. This is the syntax of creating object. Then demo dot print message. This is how we are going to call the function. Now, as this does not return any value, we don't need any variable to hold that. Then demo dot greet user, and I'm passing name to it. So as it is a string variable, I'm specifying it into double int. Next, add method. So demo dot add two values which will be of type int, is not returning anything. So this is how I'm going to specify the values. Now while passing the values, we are not specifying the data type. Data type is required whenever we are declaring or specifying the function signature. Right? Now, next, see this call to get message method. It is going to return a value, right? So string whatever is returned equal to demo dot get message. So then I will print this. Now remember that whenever any function returns a value, you can also call that function from within system.out.println. Now what is difference in these two? Here I am declaring a variable which is holding this value. So if I will need this returned value to be utilized in my further program, I can use it. Here, I don't have that returned value stored anywhere. So it will be returned and it will be printed. I will not be able to reuse it. Now, whether you want to reuse the returned value or you don't want to reuse the returned value, you can decide that whether you want to store that value into the variable or you directly want to print it. Next, subtract, and I am specifying the value 90 and say 5, something like this. And again, same thing, this is returning a value. So whether you want that value to be stored or not stored, that you can specify. save it, and whenever I will execute this particular code, I'm going to get output of all these method execution. Now remember that methods will be executed only when they are called. If you don't have any method call, methods will not get executed. So with this, we come to the summary of what we discussed about. So we discussed about what is a function, how to define a function in Java class, and how to call a function in Java. Thank you.